Welcome to the 79th episode of the Trading Without Borders podcast, and I remain your host, Tomobi. For today's episode, we are looking at the scope of application of the protocol of the AfCFTA on investment. I started that about 2 weeks ago, and we looked at objectives of the investment protocol of the AfCFTA. So today we are looking at the scope, that is who and what does the investment protocol apply to. That is our focus for today, and let's get right into it. The investment protocol sets out the rights, obligations for state parties, investors, and investments. So that means sets out the rights and obligations of the state parties, investors, and investments. And it applies to all investments of investors of state parties made after the entry into force of this protocol. So if you're investing in another state party, and that's after the entry into force of this protocol, that is after this protocol became effective, then it applies to that investment. It also applies to all investment of investors of state parties made prior to the entry of this protocol, entry into force of this protocol, provided it meets the criteria of an investment under Article 1. So we're going to look at what are the criteria of an investment under Article 1. Let's just take a quick look at that. So I will speak to some of it. I'm not going to mention all, I'll mention some of it. So under Article 1, which is the general provision, it defines investment as an enterprise or company as defined in this article, which is established, acquired, or expanded in conformity with the laws and regulations of the host states by an investor. So that means an enterprise or company that's set up or registered or founded in accordance with the laws and regulations of the host states, and provided you maintain substantial business in the host state, in the territory of the host state. And it goes on to also define what sort of assets the enterprise or company may possess. And the enterprise may possess assets include shares, stocks, or any other form of participation of the enterprise or company or another enterprise or company, movable and immovable property, including mortgages, loans, pledges, and any other similar rights as defined in conformity with the laws and regulations of the host state where the property is situated. We also have intellectual property rights such as copyrights, patents, trademark, industrial designs, trade names, know-how, and goodwill to the extent that they are acquired, maintained, and protected under the law of the host state. So those are the sort of assets. I've just mentioned 3 out of it, so I'll stop here concerning what an investment is. Let's go back to the scope of application, that what sort of investments that this protocol applies to. The protocol also applies to measures taken or adopted or maintained by central, regional, or local governments and administrations, that's government agencies, regulators, and the likes, and also when non-governmental bodies that are exercising powers delegated to them by central, regional, or local governmental authorities. The protocol applies to it. And now, finally, we will look at when or what does the protocol not apply to. That is what we're using to wrap up today's episode. It doesn't apply to any investment dispute that arose or any claim which was settled prior to the entry of this protocol, entry into force, or before this protocol became effective. It doesn't apply to such dispute. It also does not apply to government procurement. It doesn't apply to subsidies or grants provided by a state party, including government-supported loans, guarantees, and insurance under national development programs. It doesn't apply to investment made with capital or assets of illegal origin in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations of a state party. It doesn't apply to taxation measures taken in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations of a state party. and it doesn't apply to real estate or other property other than acquired for the purpose of economic benefit or other business purposes. So I'll stop here. There are others, but I'll just stop here for today, and next week we'll go into the other aspects of the protocol. And as usual, the protocol is for educational purposes only. If you need expert advice, please reach out to a trade expert around you, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. I'm Omobola Adekola. And until next week, I say to you all, thank you for listening. Please remember to share, to subscribe, to like, share with anyone that you know that is going to be useful for. Share with your friends within Africa, outside of Africa, and also subscribe to. And until next week, I say to you, bye-bye.